Welcome to the Coach Debbie Potts Show, where high performers learn how to stop guessing and start aging stronger, not slower. Your host is Coach Debbie Potts, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, metabolic health coach, and host of this show. Here, we dive into the why behind fatigue, stubborn weight, hormone chaos, gut issues, and declining performance. Using real data, functional lab testing, metabolism analysis, and simple daily habits that actually move the needle. Whether you're an endurance athlete, an executive, or simply committed to becoming your strongest future you, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hey guys, it's Debbie, and I just wanted to share with you what I am thinking about and learning as I listen to different podcasts from Dr. Russo, and I get different blogs on the Vagal Nerve Society information and updates, and really listening to clients as so many people are struggling getting the desired results with what they're doing. They feel they're doing the right exercise program, they're eating healthy, they're eating clean, but I always question, is that it? What else do we need to do? We're doing the exercise and nutrition, but what else is missing? Especially people that are busy, parents, working full time, young kids. There's so many different reasons that it's not just exercise and nutrition that is creating this weight loss to be having stubborn weight loss or struggling with energy, all sorts of different signs and symptoms that we can look at and correlate together to figure out your own health puzzle, because we're all different. It's not one size fits all, but we can investigate and get clues. So I want you to understand that we're not just, if you can't lose weight, you still feel squishy, you feel puffy, you just can't get the lean mass that you want. It's not being lazy. It's not about cluelessness. You're not being inconsistent with your workouts. You're probably what most of my clients and listeners are, high-performing individuals, athletes of whatever level. You're exercising regularly. You're eating healthy, real food. You're listening to all these podcasts. You're reading all the blogs. You're looking at social media posts. You're trying all the supplements. And yet something just isn't working anymore. You feel stuck. Your body is not responding the way it used to. Your energies might be unpredictable. And you, as well as myself, might feel your recovery is just slower than it used to be. And your sleep is off. Maybe it's inconsistent. You might fall asleep, but you wake up multiple times. You go to the bathroom. Do you really have to go to the bathroom, or are you just waking up? Are you getting deep restorative sleep? And are you waking up feeling refreshed and energized? Then we need to always address digestion. Yes, you're eating those great foods. You're prioritizing protein every meal. But how's your digestion? Are you breaking those proteins down into usable amino acids? Are you getting the nutrients from the food, the micronutrients, vitamins and minerals? What about your hormones? Are they chaotic? What's so frustrating for so many of us high performers that you are doing all the right things, but there's also other areas we need to look at. What happens and how we need to put the missing pieces of your puzzle together, that isn't the only thing. There's other things we need to look at. I learn from my clients. I learn from listening, observing, looking at family members' age, looking at fellow athletes, looking at people that are just type A driven, ambitious individuals. And we need to correlate the patterns. And I connect the dots through all these conversations, functional lab testing I've been running, everyone's different body types, genetics, and their story. The turning point for my own self years ago, that we used to think we just exercise more, ate cleaner, go lower carb, do more fasting, get those macros dialed in. If I add in all these different supplements, everything will work. But what I kept seeing, even in myself in middle age and high performers, the efforts went up and the results went down. And instead of asking yourself, what am I missing? What else can I do? What can I layer in? What's more, another biohack or habit stacking or another device I can order, another supplement to get? What else can I do? What can I add? And then you get stuck in the cycle of trial and error. And these are patterns I see in high performers over and over again. And this is what I'm now recognizing as a common thread. High performers do not fail because they lack discipline. If you're listening to this, you don't lack discipline. I guarantee it. You're failing because your physiology is no longer responding to this pressure the same way. In middle age, this is not our motivation problem. It's an order of operations problem I keep talking about. And we can't out-discipline a nervous system that is stuck in survival. We can't out-train a metabolism that's protecting you. If you're in cell danger response, your body is trying to survive and needs to feel safe. And you can't out-supplement a body that does not feel safe enough to adapt. What I've learned from my mentors, podcasting with different amazing guests on my show, listening to other podcasts, looking at patterns, and then cross-reference what I see in humans with my clients and listening to other practitioner calls. Your body does not heal. Your body does not burn fat. It does not build muscle or detox or regulate hormones unless flow is restored first. This is not a new buzzword. It's not something I just invented. It's what I'm learning about all of our physiology. As we age, when flow is blocked, the body clamps down, even if your labs look normal. And every client I talk to lately, I do the metabolism test and I ask them what labs you've had recently. Oh, everything's normal. I wish I could put a billboard. Your labs from your doctor, those normal ranges does not mean optimal. They're not the same ranges we look at when we're doing a functional blood chemistry assessment. So what I'm hearing, the missing piece that I see so many times that I keep doing these podcasts to share this information for high performers. What are you doing to feel safe? Are you getting the right nutrients for your cell membrane? Are your mitochondria producing enough energy? How's your drainage system working? How's your flow and elimination? Not your menstrual cycle flow, ladies, but your bile flow. And what is your ability to recover? Are you at full capacity? Are you running over and beyond, above that capacity? Instead, most everyone I talk to that I work with automatically goes into, I need to train harder. I need to do more weightlifting. I need to do more interval training. I need to go to Orange Theory more. And they diet more. They eat less. They're hitting their protein goals, but their protein is not 40, 50 grams a meal. It might be 10 grams, 20 grams. Oh, I had some meat on my salad. And I had a smoothie with a scoop of protein powder in it. We need at least 100 grams of protein from animal-based, ideally, per day, spread out, say 3 times. So you eat 40, 40, 40. Are you getting at least 100 grams, or ideally for more active individuals in middle age and for us females, I believe to set my goal a little higher to be Dr. Gabrielle Lyons' range is at 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So I want you to ask yourself, is your body actually ready to respond? We need to build that foundation up. And why eating healthy and training harder in middle age can backfire, because what your 20s and your 30s, your stress hormones used to work for you. But now as we get older, they start working against you. And I'm seeing people struggling in their 30s because they have kids and they're trying to do everything. They're just not letting their body feel safe. Behaviors that once built resilience, instead now you might be having those behaviors spike your cortisol, impair digestion, slow your motility, so you're more constipated. Your sleep is chaotic, feels disrupted all the time. Your thyroid conversion isn't happening, so you have low T3, and your metabolism is slower. Your hormones are not clearing. You are blocking the ability to burn fat. So when someone tells me they eat clean, they train smart, I'm doing everything right, my next question is your body in a state where it can even receive all those signals? And this is how I'm creating my foundation approach for my clients, is figuring out what order of operation do we need to work on? What is the right sequence? Does your body perceive threat? If so, nothing downstream is going to work at full capacity. If your waste your garbage isn't being picked up, you're going around your house, the garbage day comes on Thursdays at our house. If I don't go around and empty all the garbage cans and then put them into the garbage, no one's sweeping the house, collecting all the garbage around. That's your lymph. And then it has to be packaged up in bags and put in the garbage bin on the street, and then the garbage man has to pick it up and take it away. We have the right order of operations. Waste has to move before it can be eliminated. We need to breathe right, work on oxygen coming in and supporting the mitochondria. We should be breathing through our nose, getting those longer exhales and working on resetting during the day. Maybe take a moment to just breathe deep and long exhale out, breathing through your nose. Shallow breathing is a problem for a lot of people, an area of opportunity. And then we have the waste removal problem, because I think a lot of people, their garbage service is on strike. Your bile, your gut motility, the hormones, toxins are not being taken away. They're not getting to the curb in the garbage can for the garbage man to pick up on Thursdays. This only works when upstream systems are ready. And people skip all these sequences I work on with clients. They don't fail. They're getting feedback in the form of symptoms. And I find my fellow high performers get stuck longer than other people because they're really good at overriding signals. They know how to push through fatigue. They know how to normalize feeling discomfort. You ignore the warning signs, and you probably pride yourself on grit. I know so many people that way. I did Ironmans for years, competed Ironman Hawaii, did marathons, did Boston Marathon for years. I was surrounded by my fellow fit and healthy athletes on the outside, but I'm sure none of us were really healthy on the inside. We were high performers, competing to be the best in our age group, best in everything. So it doesn't matter if you're competing as an athlete or you're just trying to compete to be the best version of you in life. And we know to push through it. And we think we're invincible. And we think we're healthier and we're even a better person for it. But until the body starts to say no more, you can't override those signals. That's usually when people find me to work with, is when they're tired, they're frustrated, they're confused, they're questioning everything they thought they knew about their health. And this is where I stop guessing and help others do the same. What I've learned is this: you cannot think your way out of a physiological problem. You have to measure it. And that's why everything I do is built around testing and not guessing, pattern recognition, systems thinking, individualized data. There's no generic protocols. There's no copy, cut and paste planning. It's not, let's just try this next. It's customization. And that's why I call it the future you blueprint, what we should be doing in middle age to create our ideal self in the future. If you want to get out of that cycle of trial and error, that's where we need to start to identify what's actually blocking your flow. Are you blaming your willpower? Are you stacking random solutions, all these different things you see online? And we need to work on rebounding you to be fit and healthy from the inside out at a cellular level so your body can respond again. Not just for the future next 5 years, but the future you when you're 70, when you're 80, when it really matters what you're doing today is setting us up for success in the future. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels, chasing the next protocol, wondering why nothing's working, you're doing all the right things but still feeling off, this is where we can talk about how to personalize your blueprint and get out of the cycle of trial and error in middle age. So let's go into what that even looks like. So let's talk about what backfires, as I'm seeing this over and over again. Last few months with clients I'm seeing in person, doing the Pinoy metabolism test and looking at their goals and what they're struggling with, what has worked and what has not worked. And then I'd like to look at people's timeline. What are some big red flags we might have missed over the years? What are some sources of chronic stress externally that are hidden that you might have just shoved in a suitcase and stopped dealing with, that are lurking inside in the closet? And we can also identify hidden sources of chronic stress internally with running functional lab tests if needed. Ideally, a GI map test would really help with the blood chemistry, and even Dutch tests. And of course, you can go deep and do a mitochondrial test and a total tox test and micronutrient tests and so many things. But we can get a lot of clues from just the right intake forms as we have from nutritional therapy. But what I'm seeing and hearing about is what people get confused when they're doing a detox or juice cleanse or some type of 30-day reset. We still think that detox was just about supporting the liver, improving bowel movements, using a binder as GI detox or activated charcoal, and then we clear the pathogens out. But I've learned doing this for a while now and see this clinically, detox does not start in the liver. It really, as everything, starts with the nervous system and at the cell membrane. If your system is stuck in go mode, as I was living life as a race until the pandemic hit and I switched my whole career to focus on just what I do today as a holistic health practitioner / health investigator. I moved from Seattle, go Seahawks. We just won the Super Bowl last night as I record this, but I moved to North San Diego where I'm kind of in the hills. I look out to nature. I'm working in my glass house with windows. I'm in fresh air. I'm outside and close to the beach and get my beach walks. I had to reset my body at a nervous system level to get out of this constant state of survival mode. It was how I was living my life until 2020 hit. You may be similar to me as we're high performers. I love looking at genetics, as you can do the 3x4 genetic blueprint that's now available. I can send you a link and you do it on your own. If your system's stuck in this go mode, your body does not let go. That's what I keep wanting to focus on these podcasts. Remember, you are going to feel worse if you start to force a detox when your body's not ready, when we don't have flow set. Because you will feel worse with headaches, fatigue, you'll be irritable. Constipation is the main reason in the nervous system, and you feel anxious and you have more flare-ups. It's not that detoxing is a bad thing. It's because we're not creating the foundation blueprint first. We're not creating flow. Your body is not ready yet. We need to do things in order of operations, and a lot of practitioners don't do this. You might get the lab test right away, you get the results back, and you start on a protocol. Constipation is one of the first red flags. We do have to talk about your poop and How does the poop look? Look at a Bristol stool chart. What number are you? Here's something that surprises a lot of high performers. You can poop every day and still be constipated. Constipation isn't just about frequency. We're also looking at motility, hydration, bile signaling, nervous system tone, and cellular waste export. But we're also looking for clues in that Bristol stool chart. If your stool is dry, if it's hard, I know this is gross, but this is really what your body's telling us. Incomplete stools, you require straining to take a poop. You take more than a few minutes to eliminate. My mom would be disgusted. I'm actually talking about this because that's just, you don't talk about your stool. But this is what your system is holding on to. Isn't eating more fiber. That's why I'm always asking about fiber. Does this person really need to add more fiber? Is that an issue? I am learning, and not to give away my secret sauce of how I work with my clients, it's a safety problem as well as an energy problem. High performers are especially good at overriding this feedback until the body stops cooperating. Now, what I always talk about is being fit and healthy from the inside out at a cellular level. And what I learned from other experts and client experiences, toxins do not just overload detox organs. They get embedded in cell membranes. And when the membranes are compromised, our nutrient transport slows. Our waste export shuts down, the signaling gets noisy, and our mitochondria struggle. And motility downstream falters. And I learned this for my own self when I did the mitochondria test a year ago, almost in April, called Me Screen, that's out of UCSD. Super fascinating, eye-opener to me. And this is why so many clients can see my labs. The doctor said I'm normal, but you continue to feel inflamed, foggy, bloated, stuck. And the issue isn't effort. It is about communication. And we call it in metabolic, in FDN as practitioners, Reed Davis terms this all as metabolic chaos in our body. And I call this solution is to create metabolic harmony. We need communication as well as flow, and the cells need to get the messages that it's safe to release. And this is why I'm careful with adding more tools. I'm cautious with this long-term aggressive binders and constant protocol stacking for clients because my clientele are similar to me. We're high performers. They love tools. And they come with a long list of supplements and all these different so-called biohacking equipment. But tools without sequencing correctly can increase the problems with more constipation, deplete the body of more nutrients, increase the load of stress already on the body, and reducing our resiliency. The goal is not to bind everything and remove everything. Especially we can actually add in here anti-nutrients. If people are eating a lot of plant foods, not that plants are bad, but excessive amount, they're depleting their body more of minerals. The goal is to restore function so your body can do this on its own innate intelligence when it feels safe. And this requires work, restraint, which is often harder for high performers than effort. So before I work on a deeper detox, because we all probably need it, and antimicrobials when we do testing, but I'm learning I need to evaluate the client's nervous system safety first, their cell membrane integrity, mitochondrial energy. If we can do a Me Screen test, we can look at this. Gentle nutrient preserving binding and anti-inflammatory, antioxidant buffering. So if these are not solid, pushing harder, which we tend to do because that's our high performer personality, it backfires every time. And we need to look at some clues our body's telling us. But let's look at an analogy. I was like the bucket analogy. why you might feel full all the time. So think of your body as a bucket. Every day, drops go into that bucket. We talk about these external stressors and hidden sources of chronic stress that are coming from the inside out. Think your work out, your work stress, your lack of recovery between the workouts. What about your blood sugar swings that come from chronic stress, not just your nutrition, inflammation? And what about your environmental toxins, your household toxins, everywhere toxins, your food? High performers don't reduce the flow in. They try to empty the bucket faster. But if you don't reduce incoming stress, repair the bucket walls, and open the drainage, this overflow continues to happen. Flow is what repairs the bucket. But we need to do things the right order. 2 phases high performers resist but need the most. Phase 1 is to stabilize. This is where most people struggle that I work with. Calming the nervous system, as we talked about, the repairing the membrane, supporting mitochondria, restoring bile, motility, ensure daily easy elimination. But this phase builds capacity. One of my new favorite words, capacity. It doesn't build weakness, it builds capacity. And I think a lot of times when we have to tell people they're training hard every day, and I know this, I experience it myself, you need to back off. You need to do less. When I got adrenal exhaustion in 2013, people told me, you need to work out 45 minutes maximum. It's like, what? I go run 8 miles. I go bike 2 hours on a weekday. Weekends, I was biking 5 to 7 hours when I was training for Ironmans. I wasn't going to do 45 minutes. That's a waste of time. I didn't do it. I didn't change my ways. So we need to work on calming the nervous system, repairing or rebuilding from a cellular level to build that capacity. Then phase 2, we reduce the load gently, but only when your body's ready to clear. Only when your systems can clear reliably, then we increase the binders. Then we can lower inflammatory burden. Then we can reduce exposure. We're not forcing, we're not killing everything right away, and we're not pushing all these protocols. And this is what I've learned, that I'm not taking clients for 3 months, 4 months. It's a 6-month or longer process. And so that's why I just switched my packages for clients, that it's just a Future You blueprint. And you get this many sessions. If we need to add more, you can buy them individually at a discount. But you can't just expect all this to happen at once, because for me, it's been 13 years since I started struggling. And last 5 years, I've been pretty good. But I know 2020 was a bad year. And on my body, a lot of stress, as a lot of us. And I've had some setbacks. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I've learned that we have to make this long lasting, to create the Future You blueprint, is slowly repairing and building phase by phase. And this is why I've started to learn more about aggressive protocols before we've had good flow. It's kind of like shaking a bottle, that kombucha drink Kavita I used to get, that's already under pressure. And then you try to open it up and it explodes. This is why you feel worse when you're doing all the right things. Your body is not broken, remember, it's in protective mode. And healing isn't about doing more, is what I've learned from these last 15 years. It's about doing things in the right order. And for us high performers, I, again, took since 2013 to learn this the hard way, to take time and know order of operations. Learn how to pause, control, alternate, delete, reshift, downshift, listen, restore before you start pushing again. Cycle things in and out. And that's what I've created, this Flow Foundation Blueprint program, to help clients. And when flow is restored, results will start to return. Not because you tried harder, but because your body was finally ready to respond. So we need a better sequence, and we need personalization, and work on you, the individual, and figure out where we need to start to get your body's own innate intelligence back online. And that we need to understand the systems that determine whether your body is going to adapt or resist. And it always comes back to that master switch, the conductor. The nervous system safety means your body is going to perceive, I'm not under threat right now. When your nervous system feels unsafe, whether from overtraining, under recovery, chronic stress, constant stimulation from doing all this stuff, it's shifting you into that sympathetic dominance, fight or flight. And remember, digestion slows down, gut motility drops, bile secretion decreases, blood sugar becomes unstable, detox pathways shut down, hormone signaling becomes erratic. You can eat perfectly and train smart, but if your system stays in threat mode, the body holds instead of releases. Remember, safety isn't just, it's not about relaxation. It's a signal, a clarity signal. And without it, nothing downstream works properly. I've been saying this a long time, and now I keep hearing and seeing all these other posts on it. Other practitioners and doctors and experts are speaking out about the vagus nerve, safety versus survival. I learned this years ago from Sweet Beet founder Rhonda, and then from Jody Cohen of Vibrant Blue Oils. Then we've learned a lot, I have, from the mitochondria testing and how cells communicate together, and looking at mitochondria and cell danger response. Learning about that every cell in your body is surrounded by a membrane made largely by phospholipids. Lipids is fat. And this cell membrane controls what nutrients enter the cell and what waste exits out of the cell. But also how hormones, note middle-aged people and our hormones are all flexed, neurotransmitters also bind to those cells. So hormones and neurotransmitters bind to cell membranes, ideally, in the right conditions, as well as electrical and chemical signals are transmitted. But what we don't think about and we don't know, your cell membranes can be damaged by oxidative stress, inflammation, toxins, chronic stress, and nutrient transport slows down. Waste export shuts down, signaling becomes noisy, and your cells just become confused. And this is why labs can look normal, but you still feel foggy, inflamed, bloated, or stuck. If the membrane isn't healthy, detox doesn't happen. And we talked about mitochondria is your energy. And mitochondria, those energy factories of the cells, give your body the power to detox, that they give energy to detox enzymes. ATP is needed for bile production, gut motility, hormone conversion, and tissue repair and recovery from training. The mitochondria are the energy factories of your cells. And us high performers often out-train and under-fuel our mitochondria. And energy availability will drop down. We'll see detox pathways slowing down, inflammation increase, recovery is stalling, fat loss stops, and symptoms continue to increase. You can't heal, you can't detox or adapt on an empty battery. Mitochondria support is not about stimulants. There's all these different supplements I hear advertised. It's about sustainable energy production. And knowing what you can do to improve your mitochondria depends. That's why I love the Me Screen test, because I learned I needed certain nutrients, and I have certain genetic SNPs that I need more nutrients as choline for my mitochondria and essential fatty acids. So again, we need to get individualized attention and working on understanding exercise creates more oxidative stress. And Every detox reaction takes oxidative stress. We create more inflammation. If we don't buffer this constant stressor, those symptoms flare up and the tissues get more irritated. Our nervous system is just sensing danger all the time. And when the nervous system senses danger, that turns on the cell danger response and then puts us in sympathetic dominance where elimination will shut down again. So we have slow motility. So it all accumulates. Everybody needs to work together to create metabolic harmony. So you can take the supplements, antioxidants, protect the cell membrane to reduce tissue irritation. We can support mitochondria. And we can work on keeping detox pathways from overwhelming the system. But it's about not putting the brakes on. Without buffering, detox feels as a crash instead of a flow. And this is why we need to work individually to figure out the right order of operations. High performers want action. They want results now. That's how I was. I wanted to figure out when I had problems, I needed to get back to racing. I had trips planned. I had cycling events. I had a marathon, Ironman stuff races I registered for that I wouldn't get my money back. I had a plan. But these foundations determine whether what you do works or if it's going to backfire or if just everything you do gets ignored by your body. If we don't have the right foundations in place, pushing harder only increases more resistance. This is why I always need to figure out where we're starting and evaluate where you are on your journey to create your future self. It's not that you're just fragile, it's because your systems are compromised, your body's sophisticated, and often we've reached full capacity and running above. So it's like you're driving your car in high RPMs. You're not getting your car taking time out to get a tune-up. And we don't need more discipline. You don't need to try harder. You don't need another supplement or another protocol necessarily yet, because we first need to get your body to feel safe. And we'll figure that out together. What that means for you will be different for someone else. Safety before stress. We need to create structure before clearance and energy before effort. These systems are supported when they're supported appropriately. And when your body stops fighting you, that's when you get to see results. So if you have more questions, let me know. I think it's understanding how high performers we need to do things differently and understand what you need to do to slow down before you speed up and how that might work for you. So head to debbiepotts.net if you want to schedule a call. You can schedule on there, free discovery call to learn about the Future You Blueprint, or it's on the website, debbiepotts.net under coaching packages. Or maybe you're fine. You just are learning. That's great. But if you're fit, you're driven, and you're used to push through discomfort, this part can be uncomfortable to hear. Again, you don't need more discipline. You don't need to try harder. You don't need another protocol. You've already proven you can do the hard things. You're just missing the right sequence. Safety before stress. And if your body, your nervous system's constantly sensing urgency, pressure, threat, go, digestion shuts down. Detox shuts down. Your hormones stop clearing and they get recirculating. Toxins don't clear out, they get stored in fat cells. Safety is a master switch that tells your body you can open, you can release, you can adapt. But without safety, the body holds, no matter how healthy you look on the outside and your habits are working out for you. You might be doing them consistently, but are they too much? Are they the right ones? So we want to create structure before clearance. Most people try to clear out those toxins and hormones and pathogens before fixing the structures that move them out. But clearance depends on different factors. And if those structures are not working, forcing detox just creates more symptoms. Structure first, clearance will happen. healing, detox, fat loss, recovery all require energy. If your mitochondria are depleted from this chronic stress mode, underfueling, overtraining, poor sleep, then effort backfires. You can't adapt on an empty battery. Energy has to come before intensity. Intensity just digs a deeper hole. When the nervous system is safe, cell membrane integrity, the mitochondria create more energy, getting gentle binders, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, all this happens in time. Get your body to stop fighting you and everything will improve. Not because you pushed harder, because your physiology was ready to respond. It's not about doing less forever. It's just about doing a little reset, reboot, and doing things in the right order so your body works again. Support safety, restore structure, rebuild energy. Then we can start working on applying some stress. That's how results return. That's how flow is restored. And this is how you become your future you. So let me know if you have questions. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Take care of the whole you from the inside out.
Thanks for listening to the Coach Debbie Pod Show. If today's episode sparked a light bulb moment, that's your sign to stop guessing and start building your personalized future you blueprint. You can learn more or book a discovery call at www.debbiepotts.net. Be sure to follow the show on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Coach Debbie Potts. 2 T's. If this episode helped you, please subscribe, rate, and review. It's how we help more people age with strength, energy, and clarity. Until next time, remember, age is inevitable. How you age is not.